Hello, I'm Grace Chatting and welcome to this video. This video is for you if you're the person who decided to stay with your partner who has struggled and has challenges with alcohol dependency or addiction. And chances are that you've stayed not necessarily because you're weak, not because you're unaware, not because of any of those things, but just life is complex. And it may be that you're older now. Some of you in my Rebuild Your Life group are like 80 years old. And that's not the best stage of life to be thinking about starting afresh. Maybe you've limited resources, and you've got deep commitments as well. There's lots of reasons why people stay, and it's not because they are flawed or that there's something not okay. Maybe you've already tried leaving and find that survival on your own just brought more risk than refuge. There's a lot of reasons, so we're not judging people who do stay in these relationships. Perhaps you've made a clear, conscious choice to stay, for now anyway, for reasons that make sense only to your soul. And still, every day you're living with your partner's alcoholism in your home. And not the binge and collapse drama of younger years perhaps, but the slow erosion, the subtle chaos, the strange silence, the loneliness of being unseen, because that is life with many alcoholics. And I want to tell you something that very few people will tell you. Even if you stay, you can still recover. You can still recover. You don't have to wait until your partner recovers. You can make a start on your recovery, because even if nothing changes about them, you can. So what recovery looks like when you stay, it's kind of a bit different to if you're separated. Recovery in this context doesn't mean curing your partner. It doesn't mean fixing them or controlling them or managing their moods. You've tried that many times probably, and it's exhausting, and it doesn't work anyway, as you find out. Your recovery is about claiming your own inner space, your joy, your energy, your peace of mind, your life. And it's about becoming sovereign within yourself again. One of the worst things about staying in this kind of relationship long term is you can easily just lose yourself, even in a shared house, even in the shadow of addiction. So there are a number of steps to making a recovery in these circumstances. And one is to grieve what you've lost. You have to let yourself tell the truth that this isn't the life that you imagined for yourself. It's not the marriage that you longed for. And, many people feel angry or bitter or embarrassed to even admit that to themselves. But, grief is not weakness, it's honesty. So let yourself mourn. Let yourself mourn the intimacy that you no longer have, and the support you never received, and the partner who disappeared beneath the drink. Give your pain a voice in a journal. I find journaling is really great. I always keep this on my desk, my sturdy, kick-ass journal. Everybody needs one. I cannot recommend it highly enough. Or in therapy, any of you who want to accelerate your recovery, you can contact me and we can discuss having some therapy. Or you can join Al-Anon or Rebuild Your Life, a support group online like that. But don't pretend that you're fine. You don't have to. So that's acknowledging what you need to mourn. And step two is to claim emotional detachment without abandoning yourself. You know, the years that you spent trying to manage it, control it, fix your partner, and that you look, it's not just men or women. You know, anybody can have this kind of issue. So your partner may blame you, deny, avoid responsibility, may dismiss your feelings, and that's probably been happening for many years, and may make false promises. You've been there, you've done all that. You can't change them, but you can change how you respond or react. And this means that you stop trying to persuade, you know, stop trying to get through to them or persuade them, and you refuse to ride the emotional roller coaster. You've done that long enough. You stop doing it. You just need to stop doing it. Nobody's forcing you to do that. Ground yourself in your own reality. So detachment from your partner and your partner's drinking, it's not cruelty, it's clarity. It's getting clear about your personal boundaries, where that person ends and you begin. Because what you finish up with, the codependency and the enmeshment, that is how you lose yourself. So you can say to yourself, I will not argue with someone who has been drinking, and just do not get drawn into it. You can recognize this behavior is unacceptable to me. Even if I'm not leaving, I still don't have to engage with it. And I choose peace, even in this storm. I'm not saying this is easy, but it is doable. So the next step is to rebuild your own daily rhythm and stop being preoccupied with your partner, and you know your rhythm depends on their rhythm. You set your own rhythm. So add some small sacred little rituals that are just for you. Even if you're in the same house, you can create emotional and energetic space, and you can try having a morning quiet time with your favorite tea. Create a corner of the house that you can create a quiet space, put some nice things there that you like. um, you know, I'm just noticing on the screen behind me, that's my favorite mug with my heart on it. That's my cup. And if you're blessed with a garden, you can go outside and practice box breathing, which absolutely calms down. It massages your vagus nerve, and it calms you down. You can listen to inspiring or uplifting audiobooks or music that lifts your spirit, and write down 3 things each day that you still love about your life. And I mean, look, I'm not going to patronize you or tell you what you should, but you can find things that you can be grateful for, even in your situation. So let your nervous system know that you are not powerless. You're powerless over other people, places, and things. You're powerless over that, but you're not powerless over your own life. You're still you, and you still exist. And you are not your body, you're not your thoughts, you're not your feelings. You are a source of pure creative dynamic energy, and you're still becoming. And it's up to you to create your peace. So the next step is to cultivate your own support system. So, you know, Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. Now, you would love it if your still drinking spouse would go and get some help and get some support and become the person that you fell in love with. Um, Now, as Gandhi says, be the change you want to see in the world. You can go and get support. You can get therapy. You think that you're okay and that the problem's with your partner. And when your partner goes and gets him or herself sorted out, everything will be fine. And you think that you're fine, but you're addicted to your partner. So even if you can't leave, you mustn't isolate. So you can reach out to Al-Anon or an online recovery community, or you can join the support group Rebuild Your Life. There's a free one and a paid one with monthly group coaching, which will really help your moving on. A trusted friend, have a trusted friend who listens without judging, but not just to complain about your partner and how awful it is, but to engage with your own interests and your own life. And a coach, a therapist, or even once a month is better than nothing. And connection is your lifeline, and validation is your medicine. So there are things that you can do. So let yourself be seen and don't isolate yourself. And then the next step is to reimagine your life within its current frame. Um, that you're living with this, but you may never have the partner that you dreamed of. But you can still have a life of meaning. That it is a total limiting belief that you can never be okay, that you can never be happy unless your partner stops drinking. Now, some alcoholic behavior and drinking is difficult to live with. I'm not minimizing that, but within the parameters, if you're staying and you're going to be there, then you have to decide how you're going to optimize your life. So, think, is there an online course that you can take? Is there a podcast that you can listen to? Motivational, um, podcasts are very good. Is there a creative project that you can engage with that's yours, that you've long neglected? Maybe you could start it again, or a cause or a community that you feel drawn to. You can start one little thread of something that's just for you and just follow it gently, even if it is just the journaling. Let it grow, and have, you've got to have some hope, not that you're constantly that what your partner might do or may never do, but what you are going to do. You need to take responsibility for your own life and your own happiness, not waiting for them to change, but choosing to live you here right now with the imperfect now. And so finally, what I would say, the final step is refuse to shrink. It's tempting to go small, to get quiet, to isolate, to become invisible. But, the invitation here is for you to expand, even living in the same house, even with the same partner, even in the presence of addiction. You're allowed to feel joy. You're allowed to laugh. You're allowed to dance in the kitchen, play some loud music and dance. You're allowed to have pleasure in your own pursuits, and hold your head high, because your life is not over. It's still your life, and you've stayed and you've survived. And now the question is, how will you live? It's up to you to decide how you can live within the circumstances that you've got. And it's an inside job. This is all an inside job. And you don't need to have permission to begin again. You don't need to escape to have freedom. And you can carve out sanity and peace and even joy right where you are. and you don't have to do it alone. I would encourage you to join our Rebuild Your Life group. The link's down below. And, you know, leave some comments below. If you find this in any way helpful, subscribe and join the series, and click like. And with all love and respect, I'll say goodbye and see you in the next video.